Marsau Scott just said something to Kimmie that left everyone shocked. This is not just another small fight from Love and Marriage Huntsville. This is something much deeper. The way he spoke about her mental health has made everyone talk. Was he trying to help her in a strong way? Or did he go too far? And why is Kimmie's well-being the main focus of all this? Marcel is known for speaking his mind, but this time, his words have caused a big problem. Fans of the show are used to fights and drama, but this time, it is different. Even people who have watched the show for a long time are shocked. The way he talked about Kimmie's mental health has made many people worried. Was he just being very honest, or did he go too far? In this breakdown, we will explain everything that happened. We will see what led to this moment, why people are calling it a big problem, and what this means for their relationship in the future. We will also look at Kimmie's struggles and how Marcel responded to them. By the end of this, you might see things in a completely new way. To understand why this happened, we need to look at the past. Marcel and Kimmie's relationship has always been complicated. Sometimes they support each other, and sometimes there is tension between them. But now, things have changed in a way nobody expected. People who have followed Love and Marriage Huntsville for a long time know that their relationship is not always smooth, but this situation has made many people very concerned. Kimmie has been going through a very hard time. She has been very open about her struggles, and they are not small. She has been facing serious personal challenges, and they have affected her emotions and mental health in a big way. Whether it is the pressure of her marriage, her health journey, or the problems in her friend group, she has been dealing with a lot. When a person already has so much to handle, the last thing they need is more stress. But Marcel is not the type of person who speaks with kindness. He has a very strong personality, and he always says things in a direct way. He never tries to make his words sound soft. Some people like that he speaks the truth, but others feel he is too harsh and uncaring. When it comes to Kimmie, his behavior has always been a mix. Sometimes he shows support, but other times he says things that feel rude and even disrespectful. So, what led to this big moment? People close to them say that Marcel and Kimmie have had problems between them for a long time. It could be past issues from earlier seasons, personal differences, or just the stress of everything happening in their lives. Whatever the reason is, their energy has felt different for a while. And then, everything reached a breaking point. There was a moment that left fans shocked and asking, did Marcel really just say that? Before we talk about Marcel's words, we need to look at what Kimmie has been going through. Her struggles are real, and this is not just another argument. Once you see the full picture, you will understand why fans are so worried. Before we talk about Marcel's shocking words, we need to take a step back and understand what Kimmie has been going through. This is not just about one argument. This is about everything that has been building up for a long time. When you see it that way, it becomes clear why this whole situation is very serious. Kimmie has always been one of the most calm and wise people on Love and Marriage Huntsville. She is smart, patient, and has often been the one to stop fights when things get too heated in the group. But behind her calm face, there is a lot more happening than people know. In the past few months, she's been struggling in ways that many fans did not fully understand until now. One of the biggest battles in her life has been her health. Everyone who has followed her story knows that she has been open about her fight with breast cancer. Dealing with cancer is already one of the hardest things a person can go through, but many people do not talk about the emotional and mental pain that comes with it. The fear, the treatments, the exhaustion, it affects every single part of life. Even though Kimmie has tried to stay strong, anyone in her place would feel completely tired and overwhelmed. On top of that, she has the pressure of her relationships. Her marriage to Maurice Scott has had many ups and downs. Fans have often asked if he has given her the support she truly needs during this very hard time. Some moments on the show have made it look like Kimmie is carrying everything by herself, trying to be strong even when she is clearly very tired. And then, after everything she has already been through, came the moment that changed everything. The drama in the friend group, the conflicts, the shifting sides, and the constant tension, these things are hard for anyone. But for Kimmie, who is already dealing with so much, it is even heavier. So when the topic of her mental health came up, it was not random. It was something that had been building up for a long time. Kimmie has been under a lot of stress. For some time, it seemed like people were finally starting to understand that she needed real support. But then Marsau spoke, and instead of giving support or encouragement, he said something that shocked everyone. His words were not just direct, they were rough. Some people believe he was just being himself, speaking openly like he always does. But others think he went too far and crossed a very serious line. So what did Marsau actually say, and why are so many people angry about it? This is where things become very serious. Because once you hear his words, you may start to see him in a completely different way. If you have been watching Love and Marriage Huntsville for a long time, then you already know that Marsau Scott is always surrounded by controversy. He has a strong reputation for speaking his mind, sometimes too strongly. He is the kind of person who says exactly what he thinks, no matter how it makes others feel, and he never backs down from an argument. But this time, his words did not just start a small problem. They created a storm. So what exactly did Marsau say that has made people so upset? It all started when the topic of Kimmie's mental health came up in a conversation. What happened next left everyone shocked. Something about the conversation, whether it was the cameras rolling or something said behind the scenes, made Marsau react in a way no one expected. Instead of showing kindness or understanding, he took a completely different approach. People who were there say Marsau acted like Kimmie's struggles were not important. Some say he made comments suggesting she was overreacting or being too sensitive. Others believe he took it even further, making it seem like her mental health struggles were her own fault and that she should just deal with them instead of talking about them. But the comment that truly made people upset? Reports say Marsau allegedly said something like, "I do not have time to sit around and babysit someone's emotions. You either handle your business or you do not. Life does not stop just because you are having a bad day." Now, take a moment to think about that. Can you imagine saying this to someone who has been fighting cancer? Someone who has been carrying the weight of her marriage, friendships, and personal struggles while trying to stay strong? Calling Marsau's words insensitive would not even begin to describe it. This was much worse. The reaction was instant. Fans rushed to social media, calling him out for being cold and uncaring. Some said he was completely heartless, while others believed this moment showed something even deeper: his lack of respect for Kimmie and everything she has been going through. But what happened next was even more shocking. Instead of apologizing or explaining himself, Marsau refused to back down. He reportedly stood by his words, making the situation even worse. Marsau did not think he did anything wrong. In his mind, he was just being real and believed that people needed to stop being too sensitive. He did not see his words as mean. He thought he was simply telling the truth. According to him, people who let their emotions control them will never be successful. But is that really true? Or did Marsau just show that he does not understand the real struggles people go through? The reaction from the cast and fans was strong. Some people were completely done with him, saying he needed to be held responsible for his words. Others felt that he was just being his usual blunt self, and that people were making a big deal out of nothing. But no matter which side people were on, one thing was clear. This moment changed how people saw Marsau forever. And if you think that was bad, just wait until you hear what happened next. Because this situation did not just stop with Backlash. Something huge happened after Marsau's comments, and it made everything even more intense. If Marsau thought his words would just come and go without any consequences, he was completely wrong. The moment his comments about Kimmie's mental health became public, a storm erupted. But what made this even more shocking was how it affected not just Kimmie, but also the entire Love and Marriage Huntsville cast. Let us start with Kimmie. She has always been someone who avoids drama and tries to keep the peace. But this time, things were different. This was not a small argument about business or friendships. This was personal. And for the first time, Kimmie could not stay silent. For the first time in a long while, fans saw a different side of Kimmie, a side that was hurt, disappointed, and completely fed up. People close to the situation say Kimmie felt heartbroken when she heard what Marsau said. It was not just the words that hurt her. It was who they came from. Even though there have been ups and downs within the group, Kimmie always believed there was a level of respect and understanding between them. At least, that is what she thought. But Marsau's words completely broke that belief. And when Kimmie finally spoke, her response was strong. She did not yell or argue. She just spoke the truth. According to sources, she said something like, "You do not get to decide how strong I am. You do not get to tell me what I should or should not feel. You have no idea what it is like to live my life." That one statement made everyone stop and think. But Kimmie was not the only one who reacted. Other cast members quickly took sides. Some stood by Marcel, saying he was just being himself and that people were making too much of the situation, but others strongly disagreed. One of the loudest voices was Melody Holt. If you have been following Love and Marriage Huntsville, you already know that Melody and Marcel have never been close. They have had issues for years, with Melody often calling him out for his outdated views on women and his dismissive attitude. And this time was no different. Melody was not going to stay silent. When Melody heard what Marcel said about Kimmie, she did not hold back. She spoke out strongly on social media, making it clear how she felt. She reportedly wrote, "I keep telling you all who this man really is, but somehow he keeps proving it himself. You do not ignore someone's pain. You do not act like their struggles do not matter. You do not tear someone down when they are already fighting for their life. This is not being real. This is just being cruel." Her words hit hard. Melody has a huge following, and as soon as she spoke up, thousands of fans stood with her. People flooded social media with comments demanding Marcel take responsibility. Some even said he should be removed from the show, calling his behavior too toxic. But then, something even more shocking happened. Maurice Scott, Kimmie's own husband, said nothing. Fans quickly noticed that while everyone else was reacting, Maurice stayed silent. And that raised a lot of questions. Why was he not defending his wife? Why was he not speaking up against Marcel's harsh words? Was he afraid to go against his own brother? Or even worse, did he actually agree with what Marcel said? His silence made the situation even more complicated. Meanwhile, Marcel was not backing down. Instead of apologizing, he made things worse. He went on social media and repeated his comments. In a now-deleted Instagram Live, he reportedly said, "People are too sensitive these days. You all want someone to hold your hand and tell you life is fair. Well, it is not. I said what I said." And just like that, the situation went from bad to worse. And he did not stop there. Marcel reportedly said, "And I meant it. If you cannot handle the truth, that is your problem, not mine." That statement made fans extremely angry. People filled the comments, calling him heartless, arrogant, and out of touch. Some were so upset that they started reaching out to the producers of Love and Marriage, Huntsville, demanding that Marcel face consequences for what he said. And just when it seemed like things could not get any worse, something even bigger happened. This controversy reached a whole new level, and it had serious effects on Marcel, Kimmie, and the entire show. This is where everything changed. If Marcel thought people would forget about his words in a few days, he was completely wrong. What started as a small argument quickly became a huge problem that he could not escape. The anger from fans was strong, and it did not go away. People who watched Love and Marriage Huntsville spoke out immediately. Social media exploded with thousands of posts, comments, and tweets criticizing Marcel for what he said. But it was not just fans who were upset. Some well-known people in the entertainment industry and mental health experts also joined the conversation. The situation kept getting bigger. The hashtag #JarCancelMarcel started trending on Twitter, with people demanding that the OWN network take action against him. Instagram and TikTok were full of videos where influencers and bloggers talked about everything he said. Some of the most popular posts came from mental health experts. One therapist explained why Marcel's comments were not only rude, but also harmful. And as more people listened, the situation kept getting worse for Marcel. People were not just upset, they were angry. A former cast member who did not want to be named said that this was not the first time Marcel had crossed the line. They claimed that there were more incidents behind the scenes that never made it to the public. A well-known mental health advocate also spoke out saying, "When you have a platform, you have a responsibility." Marsau Scott is using his to shame, mock, and belittle people who are already struggling. That is not acceptable. Even celebrities joined the conversation. Some shared clips of the argument, openly criticizing Marcel's mindset. Well-known figures in the Black community, especially those who have spoken about mental health, did not hold back. One TV personality made a strong statement on social media. Black men already have a hard time speaking up about mental health. We do not need people like Marcel making it worse. This is shameful. Meanwhile, Marcel's own social media pages turned into a battlefield. Every post he made, even those not related to the controversy, was flooded with comments demanding an apology. Some fans said they would stop watching the show until he was held responsible. Others went further, tagging OWN network executives and calling on them to take action. Then, the petitions started. Several online petitions appeared, demanding that Marcel either be suspended from the show or issue a public apology to Kimmie. One of the biggest petitions gathered over 20,000 signatures in just a few days. This put OWN network in a very difficult position. They had to decide whether to stand by Marcel or take action before the backlash became too big to ignore. OWN network was in a very difficult situation. On one side, Marcel was a huge part of the show. Whether people liked him or not, he brought the drama, and drama meant high ratings. Removing him or suspending him could hurt the show's success. On the other side, OWN had a reputation to protect. The network was known for uplifting Black voices, supporting social causes, and encouraging meaningful conversations about relationships, family, and community. Ignoring Marcel's comments could make it seem like they agreed with him, which could damage their image. Behind the scenes, network executives were in a panic. Insiders revealed that emergency meetings were happening to figure out the best way to handle the situation. Some producers wanted to release a statement saying the network did not agree with Marcel's words. Others worried that doing this might make things even worse. Then, a rumor started spreading, and it made everything even more intense. People started saying that OWN was thinking about bringing Dr. Heavenly Kimes from Married to Medicine onto the show just to confront Marcel. For those who do not know, Dr. Heavenly is famous for speaking her mind and calling out men who disrespect women. If OWN really planned to bring her in, that meant they were taking the controversy very seriously. But the big question was, would Marcel even agree to face her, or would he refuse and make things even worse for himself? With people attacking him on social media and the network trying to decide what to do, Marcel finally made a move. Marcel knew he could not stay silent anymore. The backlash was too big, and people were not letting it go. So, he decided to do what many reality stars do when they are in trouble. He tried to fix things. At first, he refused to say sorry. Instead, he posted a short message on Instagram that said, "People love to twist words and make their own stories, but real ones know the truth." That did not help at all. It only made people more upset. His comments were filled with angry fans, calling him out for avoiding responsibility. Many pointed out that if this was just a misunderstanding, then why were so many people, including mental health experts, speaking against him? When Marcel saw that his first attempt failed, he tried again. This time he posted a video. He looked serious, like he knew things had gotten out of control. He started by saying, "I see a lot of people have things to say about my comments about Kimmie, so I want to clear the air. I think people misunderstood what I meant." He then explained that he never wanted to insult Kimmie and that he believed mental health was important. But at the same time, he defended himself, saying he was only sharing his opinion and did not think he was being disrespectful. For a moment, it seemed like he was trying to fix things. But then he made everything worse. He took a shot at the fans, saying, "You all love to act fake mad on the internet. Half the people coming for me do not even watch the show." Just like that, any support he had left was gone. Fans were furious. Mental health experts were even more upset. And the OWN network? They were probably sitting back, shaking their heads, wondering how things had gotten this bad. At this point, it was no longer just about Marcel and Kimmie. The scandal had grown into something much bigger, something that could hurt the entire Love and Marriage Huntsville show.